Hello, three-star diamonds. So excited for today's call. I know this is a long and awaited because Christy wasn't able to do the call last week. So this is really cool that we have her here today. Christy is, well, first of all, she's going to be talking about creating a referral business. The reason why this is so huge is because this is what has made her so successful with her business. So just to let you know, she's going to be flying right through because I got her a couple weeks as a 2-star. Now she's 3-star. Thursday, she's 4-star. And it's just going to continue. So super excited to get her on this call before she does advance above and beyond. She is from Texas. She has 2 adorable little girls. She also is ranked number 312 in the network out of 386,000 is what we will kind of say now, coaches. She already has grown 140,000 in volume over last year, so it's absolutely incredible. And I mean, she's going to be an elite coach. We just need to get you to 5-star. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn over the time to her on creating a referral business. And I'm going to mute myself because we are loud here. Go ahead and.
All right. Hey, guys. I'm actually really excited to be on this call with you all. A little bit about myself. I actually started coaching about 16 months ago. And I actually, when I started this, I was a kind of just a discount coach. I actually, didn't know what I wanted out of this business. And it's kind of funny when I tell my story. When I actually signed up, I kind of signed up and froze and did nothing for a while because I was too worried what people would think about me or if I put myself out there, that kind of thing. So my start, was kind of slow right at the beginning. And I was a hobby coach kind of until I reached Diamond. I reached Diamond at 6 months in the business, and I was still actually kind of like a hobby coach. I didn't really know what I was doing with the business or what my goals were. And then one of my daughters needed to go to private school. So all of a sudden I was like, needed to come up with this extra income so that she could go to this amazing private school that would be best for her. So at that point, I kind of flipped a switch and kind of learned the business and decided, you know what, the only way I can pay for this is to hit Success Club 30, 40, 50. That's how I'm going to pay for this because I didn't have the team cycle bonuses at the time because I only had, 8 to 10 coaches underneath me. So I knew that was not going to cut it. I was not going to, the little team cycle bonuses I was getting was not going to pay for this school. So I figured it out how many challenge packs I had to sell every single month in order to pay for my daughter to go to this school. So I broke it down and, I figured out that I needed to start selling between 30 and 50 challenge packs every single month. And so I, had about 300 people in my network at that time. And so I knew that wasn't going to work. So I needed to actively, grow my network. So I made that one of my priorities. And I will say between all of my 3 Facebook pages I have now, I have 9,000 people in my network. So that has significantly helped me kind of be able to sell challenge packs and grow my business that way. I will say that when I run my challenge groups now, I make them absolutely amazing. Like I create these challenge groups that if you've ever heard me speak about this before, I call them events. I don't call them challenge groups. I make it a big deal. And, each week is planned out. We have topics. We have great prizes. We have these events that people want to be a part of. So that is how I'm getting so many referrals, is because I'm having these events. People are having fun. They are losing inches and pounds. It's showing when they're going to parties or events or whatever. They're talking about how they just won this new crock pot or this new blender or whatever from this challenge group. And people are contacting me to sign up. I went from seriously reaching out to so many people at the beginning to hit my goal of 30 to 50 challenge packs. Or I'm sorry, 30 to 50 Success Club points so that I could pay for my daughter's school, to half of my challenge pack sales now coming from referrals. So like by the end of the week, I'll be at Success Club 10, and that is straight from referrals. I have not reached out to one person. I have people contacting me that are friends with the people that are in my 90-day challenge right now. So I guess another thing that I'm doing is I'm following up with my challengers, previous and current, every single week, asking them, how are you doing? Is there anything I can help you with? What can I do to help you? Have you reached your goals? I also have them fill out a goal sheet before every single challenge. So I have something to talk to them about when I reach out to them. Kind of like when we talk to like our corporate people, they're like, did you hit your goals? How did that go? So that's what I'm doing with my challengers. I'm reaching out and saying, hey, did you hit that 5-pound mark that you wanted to hit this week? Did you work out 5 times a day? And if they say no, then I help them make a plan to do that the next week. And so my challengers are coming out of my challenges highly successful. And so they are going to refer me as a coach to their friends and family. So that is how I'm getting so many referrals, is because I'm investing so much time into my challenge groups, so much time into my challengers, that they want to send, they trust me, they think of me as their friend, they want to send, people to me. I'll say that at my daughter's preschool, I walked in there one day with like a Beachbody shirt on, and I was talking to, one of my daughter's teachers, and she was saying that she's always wanted to try the 21-day fix. And asked me if I knew how she could get started, because I'm not, one of those moms that's going to walk in, advertise, trying to, make sales off of my daughter's teachers or anything. But my shirt, she just asked me about my shirt. So I told her, hey, yeah, I told her about it. She bought a challenge pack. She lost 30 pounds in a 21-day fix challenge. And boom, I got 6 teachers that signed up the next month because of her amazing results from the same school. So really, I think it's so important that we focus on our current challengers or previous challengers, getting them back into a challenge group in order to create a referral business. I also have a referral program. Anybody that sends me a referral, I send them a $10 gift card, and it just says, thank you so much for the referral. I appreciate it. Anybody else you send, I will continue to send you that $10 gift card. So people, like getting, things in return as well. So that's another thing that I do. I also ask, in our challenge groups, what we do, like we just finished week 3 of our 90-day challenge. And so we just asked, does anybody have a friend that you think would want to join you for round 2 of the 21-day fix? And so we're getting referrals that way because we're bringing it up, and these people are having great results, having fun. And so they are wanting to bring their friends and, to join them and to have fun and see results too. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Another thing I feel like that's key is to plan ahead. So we all know typically we could say October, November, and December would be considered slow season. Well, I consider this busy season because we are planting the seeds to have the biggest January ever. So we're reaching out, my team is reaching out to more people than ever in October, November, and December, so that we can maintain our Success Club goals and so that we can blow it up in January. Myself and several of my coaches, because we did that last year, we were hitting between Success Club 50 and 60 in January because we were planting so many seeds along the way. Even if you're just running free challenge groups and you're only hitting Success Club 10, that's still okay because, you're setting yourself up for January, which will be huge. So that's another thing that we're doing right now. That's why we started this 90-day challenge when we did, is because our 90-day challengers will be done right before the Christmas parties start. they're going to be going to these Christmas parties looking fabulous, feeling fabulous, and talking to their friends about, this challenge group and what we're doing to help them. And so right there, we're setting up, ourselves for success come January. And that is what happened to us last year too, when we did our challenges right before Christmas. That way, when it turns January, people are like, oh yeah, my friend did that, and felt great at the Christmas party and already hit her goal. So I'm going to do this too. So we're always I always call this like front loading with my team. We're front loading all the time. We're preparing for the next month. So another thing we're doing like in November is we're doing this like kind of like Thanksgiving charity challenge where all the coaches are contributing like a fourth of their commission to go towards a charity of the winner's choice. So all of these women joining my challenge groups feel like if they win this, if they do this, that they get to donate to an amazing charity of their choice. So they're more likely to join a challenge during this busy season where they feel like they could help somebody else. So I did this last year, and we actually chose 3 winners and got to donate quite a bit of money to, a charity of these winners' choices, and they loved it. So that's how we kind of carry through Thanksgiving. And then in December, I always do 21 days of giveaways. So we have a winner every single day. So when women feel guilty about spending money on themselves to join a challenge group, we're spinning it and saying, no, you get to pick a prize. We have all these prizes. Some are for kids, some are for adults, some are for yourself. So you can actually do your Christmas shopping during our challenge, and you can win these great prizes. So that's how we keep our business going through this slow season. And I have 50% of the people in my challenge group are lifers, meaning they've been with me since day one. They've, just go challenge to challenge to challenge with me. And so I'm constantly trying to create new ideas and new themes and new prizes to keep them coming along with me, because they're the ones that are bringing those referrals with them. So, really, I think just being creative has helped me and my team so much. And I have an assistant, and every Sunday on the phone where, part of our conversation is coming up with themes and creative ideas and the best prizes ever, because that's how we're getting people to continuously become lifers and join our challenges over and over and over. So that, has been huge for us. Let me look at my notes real quick. Let's see here. Let's see if there's anything else that I was going to talk about. I just think that really another key to my challenge groups is, we split up who's like, when I'm running a challenge group with a lot of coaches, we split up who is like the lead coaches each week, because in a 90-day challenge, let's face it, you could easily get burnt out and not want to post every single day 3 times a day or whatever. So we kind of divide it up, and we have like I started it off our 90-day challenge with 2 of my other coaches, and we each had a topic each day that we were posting about, and we come in fresh with all this energy. And, we're just like pumped up for this group. And then, 3 more coaches started it yesterday, and they came in fresh with all these new topics, and they're ready, to give it 100%. So I think that keeps the challengers seeing us being fresh and kind of like pumped up and ready to go, because it's hard to stay, on your A game for 90 days without stopping. So that's another thing that we do. We always comment on every single post a challenger of ours makes in a challenge group. I feel like that is the encouragement so many people need. And yeah, does it take time? Yes. But, I could sit down at the end of the day for 10 minutes and just go through my challenge groups and comment on each one of my challengers' posts. but that's a way that I'm continuing to connect with them. And I think that's so important because they're getting to know me. They're feeling the support from me. They're feeling like I'm there for them. I'm their coach. So I think that connecting with your challengers is also key to getting referrals, because when I have coaches or challengers that aren't posting, I start to worry. I'm like, are they doing this? Are they okay? And, I follow up with them, and let's face it, some people don't want to post. They don't want to put themselves out there, but they're still having great results. So I kind of am coaching them behind the scenes and not necessarily like in the challenge group. So that's another thing that I do. Brittany, I think that's all I had written down. Sorry, I'm kind of under the weather if you can't tell. So, but can you think of any questions or anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. The first one that comes to my head is, to my head, whatever, is how do you ever turn these challengers actually into coaches? Because if they have, 6 people that want to sign up, what is the theory of not actually getting them to coach to gain the commission and to help them?
Oh, absolutely. I do. I will say that my team is basically based on working coaches. I don't have a lot of discount coaches because I always find them going in and out of being inactive, and I kind of can't count them as, stable coaches on my team anyway. But yes, definitely 95% of my coaches have come from my challenge groups. I think I only have one that has not come from a challenge group. So yes, I definitely am taking challengers and making them coaches for sure.
Very cool. Okay, what question is, it looks like there's quite a few questions actually in the chat box if you want to look at those, Christy. And then you guys are more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask her as well.
Well, I was going to say, I put a question in the comments, just if you're doing challenges for 90 days, are you starting a new challenge every month for 90 days, or you let the 90 days ride out before you begin another 90-day challenge?
I usually don't run 90-day challenges. I'm just doing it this right now through the slow season. But yes, we also run two 21-day fixed challenges every single month as well. So we have these challenges overlapping for sure. That's why we are delegating tasks in each one of these challenge groups. And the reason why we run so many darn challenge groups is because I feel like that's giving all of my coaches an opportunity to add people when they're ready to the challenge groups, because, new coaches usually can't fill a challenge group with 10 plus 21-day fixers. So that's why I'm doing that. Some of my, my diamond coaches are running their own on the side with their team.
Awesome.
I can't see the drop messages, so.
Okay, so Daphne answered hers. Miranda, do you run your challenge groups via private Facebook groups or event pages?
They're always private groups, and I do that because I honestly don't like the event type of groups, because I notice that sometimes, like, when I'm posting on those, it's popping up on my Facebook personal feed. And then so I like to make them all private groups, because I feel like sometimes there's some things that people are posting they don't want all over their personal Facebook page.
Absolutely. And then we have Becky. How much does your assistant work and how much do you pay? How did you find your assistant? How much time does following up with your current and past challengers take? So a lot of questions about your assistant. So
okay, well,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, well, my assistant was one of my challengers, and she's just amazing. I wanted her to coach, actually, but I figured I would take her as my assistant if I couldn't get her as a coach at the beginning. So for 6 months, she was my exclusive assistant, and 6 months into being my assistant, she signed up to coach and is now one of my top coaches. But I will say, what she does for me is I pay her $100 a week, and she brainstorms with me. She does a lot of the behind the scenes work. She creates a brand new 21-day fixed menu every single week, because I want my lifers to have new recipes. I don't want them to have the same menu cycling through these challenge groups. So she creates those menus for me. She helps me come up with challenge group ideas. If I'm in a bind and I need some Shakeology mailed out, she runs to the post office for me. She helps me. I have team events once a month for my team because I have over 50 Houston coaches. So we have a team event every month. So she helps me plan team events. So yeah, she's huge. And I keep telling her, as I move up, I'm going to be paying you more because you're so, worth it to me because you're amazing.
Very cool. Any additional questions with that? Oh, hold on. How much time does following up with your current and past challengers take?
Well, like in my 90-day challenge, I have 30 challengers in that. So what I've done is I've put them in groups of 3 to 5 in private message groups, and I have like team 1, and I put them based on their goals and kind of like their personalities. And so I can send out a group message to every single person. I have 8 groups for my 90-day challenge. So I'll send out a group message to all 8 of those really quick, and 2 times a week, and I'm like, hey, how's everybody doing? Anybody need help? If I don't hear back or I feel like somebody needs me, then I'll private message them. But the reason why I do those accountability groups is because all of a sudden they have this tiny built-in support system within a big challenge group, and they feel kind of like friends, and they always comment on each other's posts and that kind of thing. And as far as previous challengers, I do that once a month. I'm going back because I want them back in a challenge group. So I'm going back through my list. I have a list of every single contact that I actually have in Excel. And I actually have a newsletter that goes out once a month to every single one of my contacts. And it says, hey, these are the challenge groups coming up. Here's a new recipe I just tried. I hope you love it like I do. Here's a fitness tip. Contact me if you need any help too. That's another thing I do.
Perfect. Those were all of Becky's questions.
Okay.
What other questions do you coaches have? And unmute yourself. Please collaborate here. Do you have any?
I have a question. Christy, do you find it easy to get your coaches helping you and involved in the groups? Because it sounds like they're rock stars and they totally help. And with you delegating, like, you don't have to worry about it. And that's an issue I have because I run team groups and I'm doing the 99% of the work.
Yes. And in fact, the way I do it, like for my 90-day challenge, we are actually having several different rounds of the 21-day fix that we're doing within our 21 days. So I have each one of the rounds has either myself or a diamond coach leading the pack. And so they're the one delegating to their team. I'm leaving it up to them to make it, my diamond coaches, to make it work within that round. And yes, I will say that I have 100% participation because I tell them you cannot add your challengers to this challenge unless you're going to coach it and participate too, because that leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth if that week goes stale and nobody's posting anything because it was your job. So yeah, I set that boundary with them, and I will say I have 100% participation with my coaches.
I have a quick question.
Oh, sorry.
Sure.
You said you pick winners every week. How do you pick winners? Is it based on how often they post or pounds lost, or how do you do that?
We have a point system set up every single week, and it's different every single week what the points are for. It's mainly based off participation. So, posting sweaty pics, Shakeology pics. Another thing, if we feel like the group is losing the momentum or the positive vibe, we give points each time you comment on somebody's post and you encourage them. You get 1 point for that. So that way we can kind of bring the group back up, bring the momentum back up. And so, yeah, we have weekly prizes, and we probably invest a lot of money in those, but honestly, it's so worth it because what happens is when they get their prize, most of the time they take that prize and they take a picture of it and post it on Facebook and tag the coach that sent it to them and says, thanks, Christy, so much for sending me my prize. I'm so excited I earned this prize. That's another good way to like kind of get your name out there and get referrals. We also have like a round prize, like the end of the 21-day fix. We have like an ultimate winner as well. So that's what we do. And the coaches in charge of that round or that week are the ones doing the prizes. So, I mean, so really if like, for instance, for this 90-day challenge, I will probably personally invest $100 in prizes, little prizes going out to people. But if you think about how many people I put into the challenge group and how many challenge packs I sold, how many referrals I'm getting, it's really so worth it. So that's how I look at it with the prizes.
I have a question. So will you give us some examples of some of the prizes that you do? And then it's a two-part question. Do you track the points or do you have them track their points?
Actually, my assistant tracks the points, which is a huge time saver for me. And when I have the participants track their points, I usually have like one or two that do. And so I don't feel like that's usually works out very well for me. So my assistant tracks the points. Prizes vary. Anywhere from like, we have a prize chart. So they get to pick their prize because let's face it, not everybody needs, individual personalized blender. So we have a huge variety. Like usually we'll have like a cute tank top. We'll have, a personal development book. We'll have a personalized blender. We'll have like a scented candle. We just have a huge variety of prizes. Sometimes we have gift cards, but we always let the winner pick their prize. That way they get something that they actually really want. And what was your other question? I'm sorry.
I think you answered them both.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Whitney, did you get your entire question answered? I just wanted to make sure. Were you good? I just wanted to add on to that also. I have a lot of coaches that actually will post on their team page on stuff that needs to be delegated. And it will be kind of surprising to you who will step up. You know what I mean? So if you're feeling like you're doing everything, or if you're getting to the point where you're like, I run all this by myself, I would really just challenge you to, take it to your team and to say, this is what I need help with, and see if anybody will step up. And if not, then I obviously would just start reaching out and seeing if you can delegate any of it. And if not, let's get you some new people. How about that?
I need new people. No, I have a really hard time. So I was doing that, posting the team, and then I had like a schedule, and then I stopped team challenge groups for a while, but then I noticed there were a lot of newer coaches or their challengers that were falling off, and I just don't do well with that because challenge groups saved my life. So I started doing them again, and I buffer everything. So it's not, I have an AM post and a PM post, and I do, like this month we're doing all recipes, fall and pumpkin recipes, and I buffered all that in. So it's not like huge, but I need them to be commented on, and I don't want to be the only one commenting. And I want, I want my coaches to take the reins, but I feel like when I leave it up to them and I've, delegated, and then they don't post, or they completely fall off. I mean, I go to the point where I'm deleting my coaches out of the group. Like I have to threaten them in the team and be like, you're going to get deleted from the group if you're not participating, because it doesn't look good to your challengers. And I don't want to be like, I feel like a jerk face for that. So I don't know. I'm struggling with that, but I like the team groups. So I kind of just suck it up.
Well, I would say, to be honest with you, it sounds like you just need to find coaches that want it more. Do you know what I mean? Because I really feel like if they wanted it, that they would be participating in these challenge groups. And, I have coaches that don't join my challenge groups because they don't want to post. So that's kind of the way I leave it. I'm like, fine, you can't be in it if you don't want to post. I don't know. So don't give up.
I was just going to say I had somebody ask me this today, Whitney, this exact question. And I don't know if this will help you because it sounds like, once they're in there is where they're struggling. But I kind of do a combination of what Christy said and what Brittany said. And when I put out my monthly calendar on my team page, that has the groups that we're doing that month together. And then I just make a Google Doc that they can edit. And I straight up say to them, if you plan to invite or advertise for this group, put your name on this. And before I even open the group, those that put their name on there, then I assign them their weeks or their times. And when I open the group, those are the only people I add. So they can't put, basically they have their assignment before they've even been added into the group, and they know what they're responsible for at that point. And I don't put them in unless they've claimed, or I've assigned them a week to that. And that, that kind of works for me. Then, those people who were just hoping to dump them and run, they can't do that because I haven't even added them into the group unless they've, signed up for that group. But we have our free group this month is tight ends and tailgates. And it's like a glute workout and then healthy football recipes and stuff like that, football snacks. But it was the same thing. We just put it out, and they, I said to them, it's a free group, which we fill those things up. You guys know how your free groups are, you get hundreds of people in them. But I said to them, I don't care if you have 25 people you want to put in there, unless you sign up to run one of these days, and then I'm not even adding you into it. So that's kind of how it works for us. And I mean, maybe that sounds a little mean, I don't know, but it does keep my girls on top of it. They have to say, and so, I've had situations where some of them have said my newer coach is I want to, try to invite to this 21-day fix group. And I'll say okay, you're in charge of week 2, this, and this, or whatever. And they end up not getting any yeses. And I still have them do it anyway for the practice, So, it is how it is, I guess.
Let's take one more question.
Thank you.
I know we want to pop into about diamond retreats or retreats. So do any of you have one last question for Christy?
Do. I'm wondering, I love all of your creative ideas for challenge groups. That's something I'm not a details person. I hate details. I love big picture visionary stuff. So I got some great ideas from listening to you. So thank you. One thing that I can add credibility to what you're saying is something I did recently in the last couple of months was creating these smaller groups within the larger challenge group. And it's been amazing. That so works. This last week we started a new group, and I'm having them read You Are a Badass as a challenge group, and they're loving it. And I told them, pick out your fellow badass girls from this group and form these smaller groups. And it's been so cool. All the ladies that are over 50 grouped together and called themselves the Silver Foxes. And they are dominating this challenge, which I so did not expect. And their camaraderie together is just incredible. And then there's the young 20-something new mommy group, and they're all supporting each other. And I'm just sitting back watching this going, this is brilliant. Why did I not think of this before? So for those of you that struggle with the challenge groups and detail work like me, that's a great thing that's really been helping me. So Christy's spot on with that, and that's just been incredible. So I'm definitely going to piggyback on your idea of putting them in a group message together too, by these little groups they've selected themselves and following up. So that's just it's been awesome for me.
And one other thing I want to add is, one other thing I do in challenge groups is usually in the final week, I'll divide up the group into teams. So I don't know, I usually try to make them 4 or 5 people, and they will compete. That way everybody can end the challenge very strong. And then we will send everybody on that team a little prize, like a $5 Starbucks gift card, or something like that, to congratulate them for finishing so strong with their team. And let's face it, nobody wants to let their team down. Nobody wants to, be the one on the team that doesn't participate. So that also helps me kind of finish, my challenges really strong.
Love that. Okay. That was awesome, Christy. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hopefully you took a lot of great little nuggets from that, and we'll apply some of this to your business to help yourself to also create a referral business, because that's what it's really all about. I love the fact that you said, 95% of your challengers become your coaches. Well, they will 100% believe in it, once they have been successful and they are part of that amazing group. So thank you, Christy, so much. If you don't mind, let's go ahead and pop into retreats. I know Allison was the one who reached out to me because I totally missed the tag, but why don't you guys start collaborating about that and what questions you had? Allison, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I actually put together a little notes and stuff because this will be my third one that I've done, and I had told Becky that I would definitely share some of the stuff I've done. So if you guys don't mind, I'll buzz through that, and then my guess we could just throw some ideas out. Does that work?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, let me find what I'm doing here. All right, so I lost it already, but okay. So I just basically went through to kind of get my ideas together about what I've done in the past. So I guess things to take away from this is if you haven't done one, I know part of what brought this up is because some of us have one coming up really soon. My girls are getting in on the 23rd of this month, and this will be the third one I've done. And I have to tell you, these are trial and error for me. I'm no expert on this, and they have definitely developed over time. I've only been coaching for 1.5 years, so you can guess how this has changed for me as I've done each one. But something to consider, and it's going to be different for all of us, but who are you inviting? Are you opening this to your entire team, to your diamonds, to your leaders? I purposefully refer to mine as the Denver Leadership Retreat. I've never given it a team name. It's never been confined to just my downline or my personally sponsored, and I've never made it just my diamonds, and that's my personal opinion. I know people do them strictly for their diamonds. For me, I love my diamonds. I do. They're amazing. But I feel like the magic happens when I'm with my new babies. And so often I think it's easy for us leaders to sort of get lost in our own 2-star, 3-star, 4-star world that we sometimes forget the perspective of the emerald. And I love collaborating with my emeralds. They bring me back down. They remind me of what the view looks like from there, and they help me kind of guide my team better because, I oftentimes forget what it was like when I was an emerald or when I was just starting. So, me personally, the first one I ever did was actually my coach's team. So it was her team. So it was a bunch of my sister coaches and I. And how that even came to be is I started coaching in February, and the first Super Saturday I ever went to was March. And I was with my coach. I happened to be back home in Pittsburgh, so I went to that one. And I was sitting there still trying to learn what in the world they were talking about. And I'd only been at this a couple weeks. And, over in the corner is sitting Melanie Mitro and Nikki Minton, Katie Ersta, Deidre Penrose, and they're all chatting about this retreat they're going on. And I looked at my coach and I was like, why can't we do a retreat, right? I mean, I'm not Melanie Mitro, but hey, I like to hang out with my team, And so that's how it kind of came to be. And so that was the first one. The second one was kind of similar. We opened it up again, except I had a bigger downline at that point. So it was starting to go more towards specifically my team. And this one is different yet, which I'll get to that. But I think that's something you want to consider. I will tell you that my second one of the girls in the picture here, this one right here, Mandy, she was coaching probably 3 weeks when she decided to come to the retreat. She was a new coach, a new emerald, and she, to this day, says that it was a game changer for her, and she was diamond very shortly after that. I think I can't even say it was this great content that I put out. I think for her, it was the relationships that are formed, really feeling like she had a place on a team with people that were really strangers up until then to her. So that's kind of why I love keeping it open. So what's your ultimate goal? What do you want your team to walk away with. What will you plan for them? Have an agenda. So the first one I ever did, like I said, it was hodgepodgey. We didn't even know what we were doing. But I did love it. And this picture down here is from that. I took the girls and we hiked as much as we could up parts of Mount Evans here. And we made goals from a mountaintop and we shared those. And it was a pretty emotional thing for us. I would say that first one was mostly focused on team building. And one of the other things we did was one of the girls that was here also does photography for a business. And she did shots for all the girls with, like signs that you can write on, like, join my challenge group, whatever. So that was great. Another thing I always do is, I'm sure most of our teams are loaded with certified people who do like Size Live or whatever. So I always have those girls practice. I sign them up. This one coming, I've got one doing Size on Saturday morning. I've got one doing P90X and Insanity Hybrid live class for us. On Monday, we've got a girl doing PIO. So have them use their strengths. I think that's, one of the things they love doing. And, for us, we're all over the place. So we love just the opportunity to work out together, So when do you do this? Yearly, twice a year, every other year? Like I said, I've been doing this just about over a year and a half, and this is the third one. I think it's based on, what your team needs. And I can feel when my team is kind of like, ooh, like we talked about the seasons the other week. When I can feel that season coming where we need it, we sort of pull one together and they show up, and it changes. All of a sudden we're going back up the hill again. So, so where do you hold it? Do you rent a place? Do you do it at your house? You obviously have to consider the cost. I do mine here at my house all the time. It is, this is certainly not the Ritz-Carlton, but the girls love to be here, and it's easier for me to send my husband and kids somewhere for the 4 days than it is to pay for another place. So we all kind of powwow here, and it's worked, really well every single time. And like I said, I know a lot of people they've got the extra money. We're not at that point. We have 2 homes at the moment that we're paying for because with my husband's job, we're always on the go. So all of our money kind of goes to that. We've got our home in Maryland. We've got our home here in Colorado. So, just getting a bigger place, it's just easier for us to do it here. And like I said, my husband loves to take the kids, and they went to New Mexico for the last one. And I think they're going to Mount Rushmore this time. So, they have their fun little thing that they do. So why? I wrote, well, why not? Why wouldn't you have a retreat? I think building a good rapport with your team is priceless. A sense of community, belonging, and partnership holds so much value. And who doesn't love learning, right? So that was just basically things I wanted. Lost you guys there. Let's see.
That was awesome, Allison. I wasn't expecting you to put together a PowerPoint.
Well, and I've got tons of these notes I wanted to throw at you guys just to give you an idea. So I told you, so the first one we did all our goal setting, our team building, we climbed the mountain, we did the photo shoot and all that, and it was very laid back. And although it was good for the girls, they definitely feel like they bonded, and that's something they still talk about, just the relationships form had such an impact on them. But for me, I'm a structure girl, and it drove me crazy. So the second one that I planned, I was like, I need structure. The second one I reached out to, she's a good friend of mine, but in terms of business, she's like my great grandma coach, Nikki Minton. You guys probably know her. She's Melanie Mitro's coach. And I just asked Nikki to come and talk with us. So she came out and stayed for the weekend with us. And part of what I had my team do was submit things for Q&A in advance. And so we actually spent one of the afternoons. It took us 3 hours, and I had a whole PowerPoint of questions that they asked for. And like I said, I do it at home. So I just have everything on my laptop, and we have Apple TVs on all our TVs. So we just go downstairs to our theater room, and I shoot it up from the computer onto the screen, and there's nothing fancy about it. I don't have any projector or anything. It just works off the Apple TV, and they all sit down there, and we just kind of learn that way. The other thing I did want to show you guys, this is my girls' favorite thing. What did I just do there? Give me a second here. I did this last time with them, and they asked for it again this time, which I thought was fun. So I'll share this with you guys. Like when I thought of this, I had this vision of like, in pageants when they like have to go up and like pull the question from the glass bowl and then like fumble through the answer. It's kind of what was going through my head when I thought about this. So what we did last time was, this is from our spring retreat from this past year. But basically I sat down and went through and just thought about questions that my team had asked me, things that come up on the team page, things I see in challenge groups. And I made whole sets of scenarios. Basically what would happen is like, we did it like one time we went through them where like the girls just had one at a time, like we pulled their name and bam, I would put one of the scenarios up and they had to answer it on the spot. And then once they do that, we would talk about it as a team. And it was nice to have Nikki there because, she's obviously very successful in this business and she could sort of weigh in and give kind of like the final answer. But you guys can see, these are all things we run into daily in our business. And some of these are higher level things. Some of these were good for the newbies that were there. But you'll see like here, you've got a part-time coach who's considering quitting. She comes to you for advice for throwing in the towel. What's your plan of action for her? So, somebody would be up there and they'd have to, what are they going to do? What are they going to tell this girl? You have a brand new coach who hits the ground running. How do you make sure they know the ins and the outs? How do you foster continued success and motivation? You have a dependable discount coach who loves the products, hesitates to become a business builder. How do you approach this and encourage them? I have a fixed challenger 2 weeks in. They say they've lost no weight and they want to return their challenge pack. What do you do? So, I don't have to go through all these. If you guys want these, you can shoot me a message or something. But they love these and they actually asked for them again for this retreat. So in the process of creating a whole new set of scenarios based on the questions and stuff that have come up in our team page. But they love sort of that, like, being on the spot and having to figure things out because that's the reality of this business, right? So that was the meet. Oh, also last time I planned it around when they were doing a 3 vital behaviors training in Denver. So we all attended that training together, which was really fun to do, like, corporate training together as a team. So this time around, one of the things that I've changed is I have a local success partner since really none of my team is here, but I've met coaches from here, and I know Brittany knows this, but Julia Jackson is my local success partner, and we love working together. And she knows I do these retreats all the time, and she's always like, oh, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do this. So I said to her, I'm going to do another one. Let's plan it together. So this time, we have actually booked a space for the actual training since her team is local. And we've collaborated together. And part of our goal in this is I'm coming with 10 and she's coming with 10. And we value our relationship so much that our goal is for each of our team members to leave with a success partner in, so it's just, we come from different uplines and, we've got different styles and things we're taught. So like our goal was for all 10 of mine to walk away with a success partner in one of hers, but we have all sorts of different things planned. We've got icebreakers planned. I come from a teaching background, so it's really big for me to like, I hate talking at my team. I want to talk with my team all the time, So I planned out things where they have certain things that they have to lead based on their strengths. We're doing a set of the scenarios again. We brought in, this time we've hired in someone to do a part of it. She's actually like a marketing exec from Whole Foods. So she runs like their advertisements. And so she's going to teach that side of things, like promoting things and all that. But yeah, and of course we have our trainers each day to run our workouts in the morning. It's kind of like a mini summit. I mean, and the thing is this, I think we all love Summit for what it is, but I agree. And, my girls and I always say this, I don't know how you guys feel. When I leave Summit, I need like 3 days to hide under my bed. Like, I'm so overwhelmed. I sit down in my office and I look at my notes and I'm like, I don't even know where to go. I don't even know where to go. Like, like, okay. It makes me, question all the things I've been doing. And so part of what I love about this is I feel like it's broken down that the girls have time to take it in and put it back out. I can teach and they've got downtime to implement. It's not just this constant coming at them. And then 3 days later they walk away and don't even know where to start. But we break it up with little things. I like doing, cause I used to do this in my class, like minute to win it coach activities. So like all of a sudden, like in the middle of my training, I'll just stop them and I'll set the timer for a minute and say like, you've got a cold invite right now. I'm going to give you a minute. Whoever gets the first yes gets a prize, so they just got to start throwing out invites sorry, Brittany.
No, I'm just going to say, we just need to wrap up this call in about 3 minutes because I have to jump on another call that I have to lead.
Okay.
But you finish where you're at, and I don't want to rush you right off.
No, sorry. That's all right. Yeah. The other thing I do is like, I tell them like, you have a minute to perfect what we call your elevator speech. I don't know if you guys have ever done this with them because, so often like, what do? I'm a Beachbody coach. What is that? So what would, we say to them, like, how would you describe your job if you were just in an elevator with somebody, and then they have to share those things and, how they describe. But I feel bad now. I took up all the time and we didn't get to talk.
I have a quick question. I know you keep referencing girls, but for some reason recently I've had a lot of guys joining my team. So one, is it open to guys? And if so, I'm assuming that then you would open this up to people to bring spouses, because I would think that some spouses wouldn't be cool with a male going on a retreat with other females. So how do you handle that if you're not already?
I don't have any guys that have ever wanted to come with all of us. Julia does have a guy coming this time, but since she's local, he's literally just coming for the block of training. It's not like he's like, all my girls have traveled in.
Okay.
So it's not something I've had to deal with yet.
Okay.
Great question, though. Any other questions? I think the biggest thing with retreats is just see who you can get involved into it. And so that's why, a lot of coaches come out to Utah, or they go to places where there is, a 15-star diamond, or somebody that, can really be there to kind of see what is possible. And it obviously allows you to have great topics as far as like a kind of a takeaway as far as a deep conversation, a deep speech, or something like that, other than just you talking all the time, because I feel like most of the time you guys say everything that these top coaches say, and as soon as somebody else comes in and says it, or you say everything that you need to say right to your coaches, and then all of a sudden a different coach comes in, or a corporate comes in, we say the same thing, we just back you up, and they're like, oh, right? It's like this light that just went off in there, and you're like, wait, I've said this 12 times. It's just the repetitiveness of it, and it's hearing it from somebody new. So it's so great to get others involved. And so a lot of coaches will reach out and say, hey, who lives in this area? This is where I want to travel to, or where I want to take my team. Who could we reach out to that could, come and actually just speak to us for an hour? And we'll collaborate and kind of go from there. So keep in mind, there isn't a guideline per se, but the whole thing about this, just like Allison said, it's about having an agenda. It's about really, staying together, really collaborating, really getting to know each other outside of just business. Anything else you want to add on to that, Allison?
I don't think. I feel bad I took up all the time.
Okay. Anybody have any last questions before I have to pop off and say this? That was a great question, though, because I honestly get asked this question every single week. So if you guys have additional questions, next week we can literally collaborate more. If you're wondering, like, what activities, I've written out entire activities lists that are really, really great for team building that I've heard from other coaches. So we can always collaborate about stuff like that. So feel free to always ask questions. Okay. So great seeing all of your beautiful faces today. You all have an amazing week. I'm off to leadership, obviously. So next year, I will see all of you at leadership, right? Okay, I love it. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Christy, for speaking, and Allison for that PowerPoint. That was awesome. You ladies all have a wonderful day, okay? Bye.